What's up, sarsaparillas? It's your girl Sassy J, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, guys. It's time for another Love Island review. But before I get into the video, I'm just gonna ask you guys to give the video a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe. So, guys, tonight was the continuation of couples goals, right? And as usual, I made my little note. So they continued with the first question being, which partner or which couple would be more kind of like, I think, upset with somebody sliding in their DMs. Now, hold on. The moment I heard that, I thought Meg and Dijon. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Meg and Dijon. I was like, anybody who doesn't choose Meg and Dijon, I'm gonna need a good excuse why you do not choose Meg and Dijon. Because let's be honest now. Let's be honest. Meg be getting really wind up when somebody try to talk to her man and flirt with her man, and when Dijon flirts with somebody else. So for me, I was just like, I was expecting everyone to do it. Now, Shakira, this was the obvious one. This should have been the most obvious one to go for Meg and Dijon. And Shakira whispered to Harry and said, I want to save it. I don't want to use it for this one. I want to save it. Now, for me, watching that, it shows that she went into this whole situation to cause drama, right? She wanted to wind up Meg. You know what I'm saying? And for me, watching it, I'm just like, you're trying to provoke the girl because you're trying to wait for the right moment to just do something or say something that you refuse. Because let's be honest now, if she was playing the game fairly, and if everybody was playing the game fairly, they would have gone for Meg and Dijon. Shakira knew she probably should have gone for Meg and Dijon because they were the first person who came to her head. She said it herself, but she didn't want to use this right now. She wanted to use she wanted to save Meg and Dijon's name for later on to use it. You know what I'm saying? For something more spicy. So for me, that's a bit of game playing. Let's be honest now. Let's be honest. But anyways, a lot of them went for Meg and Dijon, as I expected. I think Connor and Megan went for Harry and Shakira. Well, Connor more like, because he was basically saying that, listen, I've been coupled up with Shakira and I've been friends with Shakira. And I know when I flirt, Shakira gets a bit, annoyed and whatever and in her feelings. So I can only imagine what it would be like, with Harry being outside the villa and knowing how Harry behaved inside the villa and how flirty he can be, he felt like that was going to be an issue. Harry now would feel him damn liar self, I've got to talk about. He doesn't talk to girls that slide in his DM. Listen, does Harry really think that we was born yesterday? Because if that's the case, let me get in my fetal position. Because I was not born yesterday. Harry not talk to a girl because she slid in his DM. Listen, man, don't try to take like you want to take big man for school girl because nobody's buying that bull. You know what I'm saying? Harry just chats some shit sometimes. I think everybody watching him. I even saw the look on Yasmin's face, and I know damn well she's thinking, don't lie. You know what I'm saying? About that's a red flag. Excuse me, sir. You're literally a walking red flag. You're the biggest red flag in that villa, and you're gonna talk about a girl sliding your DM is a red flag. So you wouldn't talk to a girl that slide into your DM? Man, come out of my face. Come out of my damn face. With him lie itself. But anyways, I think the second one was which couple was playing it safe. Now, Ty and Angel got a few. I think both Shakira and Toni went for Ty and Angel, and I think their reason was very similar. They were basically saying that, Angel came in, she didn't have a test. Also, they felt like she came in and she had it easy because she came in and went for the number one person that she liked, which was Ty. And then obviously it worked out in her favor because obviously Ty was also single and was in a friendship couple. So she felt like, especially Toni, she was like, I felt like that looked like it's playing safe or could be perceived as being playing safe. Obviously, I don't think you need a test. People always talk about this test. I don't think you need a test. Do I feel like Angel was playing it safe? I do feel so. I feel like Angel was playing it safe because Angel realistically wanted to go for Harry, right? I feel like Angel wanted Harry, but because Harry was because Harry is unstable and because Harry just likes to flirt and Harry don't know how to think with this brain up here, this head, instead of that head. You know what I'm saying? I think she just kind of, and because he also called it off, didn't he? He did call it off. So at the end of the day, I feel like she did play it safe by going for Ty, right? Because a lot of times she was kissing Ty and all that kind of stuff, but the conversation she was having with Harry, I felt like she wanted to be with Harry and not with Ty. So I do agree that I feel like she is potentially playing it safe. So the heated moment was Megan and Dijon, or Meg, sorry, not Megan, Meg and Dijon. So Meg said she went for Cash and Toni. Not Cash per se, but mostly Toni, because she felt like they all knew that Harrison was going to come back with somebody. So from Casa. So for that reason, Toni brought back Cash from Casa. And also, she dumped him, she left him, and then went straight to Harrison. But as soon as Harrison left, she went straight back to Cash. You know what I'm saying? Now, Toni was just like, I was single for a week. But Meg was saying, yeah, but you went straight back to having conversations with Cash, right? And she's like, but he was with Billy Kiss. Toni, she's saying that she wasn't forcing the issue or forcing him to make a decision. Toni, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because even Cash had said that he felt like she was trying to get him to make a decision. He told Billy Kiss this, right? And not only that, yes, she was pushing the issue because she was trying to get him to go to the hideaway, and then she did try to kiss him, right? And that was literally after the whole Harrison situation. So is Meg wrong for saying that? She's not lying. It is true. And it could be perceived as Toni playing it safe. Yes, that's what it is. She did play it safe. But then again, one could also argue the same way Cash said, obviously there's nobody else for her to go for. And more than likely, if I had a connection with one person and it didn't work out, or I got distracted with somebody else, and now that somebody else is no longer in the villa, more than likely, I'm going to still want to gravitate back to the person that I had that connection to. So one could still argue it, but at the same time, is Meg wrong with it? No, because at the end of the day, the whole point is you're trying to give a reason for why you think it would come across as somebody trying to play it safe. And I felt like that was a good enough reason. Obviously, Toni did not like that. But at the same time, let's be fair. Toni doesn't always like to take it, but she also likes to give it. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyways, let's move on. So the next one is the couple you'd more likely be scared to give your opinion. Now, a lot of people went for Meg and Dijon in this. Well, I say a lot of people, it's always tend to really be Shakira, Yasmin, and Toni. So they all went in with them and gave their opinion. Basically, most people went for Meg and Dijon. Not surprised there, because I do get that, you know, Meg can be defensive. And you know what? Meg can be defensive. And can I blame Meg for being defensive? When I really think about it, you know, because I'm not really a fan of Meg. I don't know. Meg annoyed me quite a lot throughout this season. And I'm not a fan of Meg. But I have to put myself in her shoe, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, I know she's defensive, right? But at the same time, you get to a point where you're tired of people always pointing you out. And I know from what Toni's saying, because Toni's reason was, you know, when people try to give their opinion, or, you know, if somebody tried to say something to them about their couple or their situation, they get very kind of like annoyed or upset, or, you know, they don't like it, and they start an argument with it. Yasmin said that she felt like Dee specifically was a bit condescending and spoke down to people, because she felt like when they try to give their opinion, he doesn't want to accept it, but also how he speaks to people. And Shakira, obviously, Shakira, this is the first time I've actually heard Shakira said all these things in front of Meg. I've heard Shakira slagged Meg off behind her back. Her, Toni, and now Yasmin. But I have never heard her speak like that in front of her, right? And I felt like, you know, they planned this. I feel like the trio planned this when they were going in. And the reason why I felt like this is because of the comment that Shakira made and said that she's saving this. She's saving Meg and Dijon's name for the more spicier time. I feel like her saying that makes me think that they planned to gang up on Meg and Dijon tonight. That's what I think personally. But I might not be right. It's just my opinion, right? But this is the reason why I think so. But this is the first time I've actually heard Shakira come out and say all these things in front of Meg. And I will say, you have to listen to when people say things, because now I'm looking at Shakira sideways. You know why I'm looking at Shakira sideways? It's because Shakira's statement was, even though I pretended to be your friend in here for a while, right? She's basically saying that I don't even like you most of the time. I don't like you. I don't want to be friends with you. I can't stand you most of the time. You just said you pretended. No, you called Meg and said, you know, you thrown out the fake word. Because obviously she was really upset from that time when they had the movie night, right? And Meg said that they were fake. Now, she's just proven Meg right about that fake comment, because you just said that I know I've been pretending to be your friend. So now it all makes sense to me. I'm just like, okay. So when Meg was saying, like, you know, I've been there for you. When you were upset, I've been there. I've supported you. And Shakira never, ever denies this. She never denies it. Now, if somebody claims that they've been there for me, and when I'm crying or I'm upset, and if it didn't go like that, I'm going to say, that's you're never there for me. I'm going to say that you've never been there for me. Now, Meg has pointed this out on many occasions when they have an argument, and Shakira's never denied it. She's never denied it, right? But now she says, you know, even though I've been pretending to be your friend, or I've been pretending to be best friends with, or good friends with you, or something along that line. Pretending? You do know that pretending is you being fake. Fix up, Shakira. Fix up, y'all. But obviously, I feel like in that moment, she did end up proving Meg's word to be right, because that is actually being fake. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyways, when Shakira was saying the whole thing about, you know, the fake comment, Meg was saying at the end of the day, if people were, you know, talking things in front of my face instead of behind my back, we wouldn't have had an issue. And that's a good, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, it's best to be saying stuff in front of people's faces. I mean, I know I could never survive on Love Island. Do you know why I know? I'm either going to get voted out on the first week, right? Or I'm going to be very loved or very hated. And I feel like I might be very hated, because to be honest with you, do you know what I'm saying? Even with my family, like, I know they can't stand me half the time. Why? Because I will tell you the truth. Like, I don't care who you are. You could have pushed me out of your vajayjay after 9 months. I'm going to tell you the truth. Right? You won't necessarily like it. I'm not going to be disrespectful when I tell you the truth, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And from my experience, a lot of people tend to not like the fact that I am so vocal on a lot of things that, you know, so I know I would not survive on Love Island. I wouldn't. But you know what? At the end of the day, I feel like I understand. Meg is basically very defensive, and I can understand from her point of view as well why she would be, because let's face it, and Dejan has said it, like, it's been the whole time from the start of things. They always say Meg and Dejan. And after a while, even if it's true and they have a good reason to call your name, after a while, it gets to you. It will get to you. It will get on your nerves. It will wear you down. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's be fair. Let's put ourselves in their shoe just for a second and think about you playing a game, or you being in a group of people, and every time there's a negative thing comes up, you're calling my name. What do you think? How do you think I'm going to feel? How do you think I'm going to feel? So let's put ourselves in their shoes for a second. That's all I'm saying. So I completely get that. But you know what? Meg stood up for herself, and I'm glad she stood up for herself. And I'm glad that Shakira, for the first time in her life, actually spoke her true feelings. Because at the end of the day, I will respect the person who speaks their mind. Talk to me exactly how you would talk about me behind my back. Just say it to me. Say it to me, because I will not. For me, this is my thing. What you say behind my back is not my concern. Because if you're not bad enough to say it to my face, I don't have time to worry about what you're saying behind my back. You know what I'm saying? Come to my face. That's what we need to do. If we're not doing this, I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? This is me. It's not my business. You can talk about me if you want to talk about me. It's none of my business. It's my business when you start talking to me. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let's move on. Meg and Dejan, where more Meg chose Toni and Cash, but she was very out there to say, listen, this is about Toni, not about Cash. I feel like Toni likes to give her opinion, but she doesn't like to take it. And she likes to give her one-liners, and she likes to have the last word. And she, with one rule, go for one, and one rule, go for the other. Do you know what? I'm going to agree with Meg there, because I've said it. Toni does not like to receive. And when Toni is wrong, and I know Yasmin keeps saying, but yeah, but she owns it, she owns it. Regardless of whether somebody owns something or not, at the end of the day, you cannot have one rule for somebody else and one rule for yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't expect to be disrespectful when somebody calls you out on it. You're like, well, I'm not apologizing, but I don't care. I don't care. This is Toni, right? But yet still, when somebody else does it to her, it's a big deal. You can't give and don't expect to take. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, Meg's point was accurate. Meg's point was accurate. I've got to be honest. It was accurate. It's one rule, and I've said it so many times. They slagged off Helena about this hideaway thing when Harry was the person that asked her to the hideaway, and Harrison was the person that asked her to the hideaway. And did was any of them in a relationship or exclusive? No. It was early days, and they were exploring. But they asked her, both boys asked her, and she went. And there's nothing wrong with that. The boys who they were coupled up with were the ones that owed them loyalty, not Helena, right? But they all went down on Helena. And even people outside, we all went down on Helena. But at the end of the day, what did she do? She didn't do anything. She was exploring, and that's all it is. But Toni, when Cash was trying to get to know Billy Kiss, did she not ask him to go to the hideaway? Did she not try to kiss him? Isn't that her trying to steal Billy Kiss Man? Or trying to steal Billy Kiss Man into the hideaway? So where's the heat for Toni? So you see what I'm saying? One rule, go for one, and the next one is different. So, you know what? Meg went on, because she went deep, and she, for the first time, Toni was a little bit speechless. You know what I'm saying? Yasmin had to jump in. She had to tag Yasmin on that one, to be fair. But it's the truth. One rule, go for one, and one rule, go for the next. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Blue obviously called out Cash and Toni. And Toni knew who was going to do it because she told Cash this anyways. And it was this kind of similar thing. He said that he felt like at the end of the day, you know, what's her name? He tried to give Toni his opinion on things, but Toni doesn't want to accept it, but she likes to give other people opinions, and how she, you know, the whole thing about when she was rude to him because he tried to give her an opinion and she told him to shut up, and then she didn't want to apologize, and da-da-da-da. Now, here's the thing, right? Because if Blue is referring to the time when he gave his opinion, and I get it. I feel like he had his right to give his opinion that night at the Grafties. He had all right to ask the question as well. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. However, I do think that the conversation he tried to have Toni with after that, I cannot blame Toni for that. Because I feel like that was really annoying. I can't blame Toni for that, because I probably would have done the same thing as Toni did, because it's frustrating. Do you know what I'm saying? I told you I'm not going to have a conversation about this stupidness. Why are you trying to have a conversation to me about this stupidness? I don't want to do it. I'm not going to waste my time. So why are you wasting your time trying to waste my time? Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to side with Toni. I get what Blue's saying, but for that conversation, in regards to that specific conversation, I've sided with Toni. Do you know what I'm saying? But in its whole entirety, I do agree that Toni likes to give and she doesn't like to take. And Toni she feels like when she has an opinion, everybody needs to hear the opinion. But when it's time for her to receive somebody's opinion, she shuts down. She doesn't want to hear it. Do you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of Toni fans are going to come for me in the chat tonight, and Shakira fan, but feel free to come and do it, because at the end of the day, I'm this kind of person, right? I look deeper. I don't look at the surface level, I look deeper. And at the end of the day, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to analyze it, and I'm going to really look at it from different angles and decide what I think is happening in the situation, or what I actually truly think about the situation. And I think it's fair for everybody else to be able to do so as well. So feel free to let me know and express how you actually feel about the situation in the comment section. But anyways, let's move on for a second. Actually, before I move on, Blue called Toni a pick-me girl. Now, Toni's a lot of things, Blue. A lot of things. Toni is a lot of things. A pick-me girl, she is not. Okay? So let's not go there. Let's not take it there, because Toni is a lot of things. not a pick-me girl. Well, I mean, I guess she did come across like a pick-me girl with the whole Harrison situation, just a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know, she's not really a pick-me girl. Let's be honest, okay? But anyways, actually, for the playing it safe, I think Connor and Megan, Ty and Angel, and Helena went for Jamie and Yasmin. Helena was saying that basically when Jamie came in, he went straight for Yasmin because Yasmin was single, and obviously he planted. They kissed and they went straight in so quickly, and it could be perceived. I like her choice of words. It could come across as somebody that's playing it safe. And you know what? I get it. I get why she said that, because at the end of the day, at the beginning as well of Jamie, when that first happened, I was skeptical about Jamie, and I felt like Yasmin was going too quickly. Yasmin did say, you know what, it was me that really went on him. And that is true, because she literally just went for the kiss like that right off the bat, to be fair with you. But I understand where Helena was saying. And at the same time, I don't think that they should really take it personally. Just like how it was the same comment that was made about Ty and Angel. You know what I'm saying? It was the same comment that they made, realistically. Well, I don't know if, I can't remember if they made that comment. I think they did. But I know for sure Shakira and Toni kind of said, you know, obviously, Ty was in a friendship couple, and what's her name went for who she went for the number one person, which was Ty. So it was kind of similar in line with what they had said. So I don't think they should really take it out of context or blow it out of proportion. Connor did say kind of a similar thing. He said, obviously, I know that, you know, Yasmin is saying that she jumped onto the Jamie, but at the same time, he could have taken his time to get to know other people. And Jamie was like, actually, you wasn't there. You know, you was in the other villa, and I did get to know every single girl. I mean, when he said that, I was just like, wow, did you really? I didn't see this. Maybe he did. Maybe they just didn't show it to us. But at the end of the day, do you know what it is, right? I feel like, because if I was answering these questions, I would answer these questions based on, you know, what I really think could be perceived as certain things. And you know what? For the whole time, when even since yesterday, I feel like a lot of times when people choose the other couple, it's more personal than actually, you know, yes, they might have their reasons, but I feel like a lot of times the attack is more personal, and it's not because like they have like a full-on valid reason. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? If I was actually playing this game, right, I would basically base my answer off what I genuinely felt. But I feel like a lot of the time throughout this whole game, it's more kind of like the person that you do not like. Do you see what I'm saying? And I can't get past that comment that Shakira made. I'm so sorry. I cannot get past it, because for me, that just showed that she went in there to cause drama. But anyways, let's move on. So Blue had a conversation with Harry and Dijon, and he was saying that, listen, you know, while he was in tape or while they were out on the outside, Megan was having conversations with Tommy, and they were meeting up and stuff like that. And he feels like, you know, Connor should really know about it. Also, he was saying, like, obviously he feels like Megan being outside, Megan is being careful at how she do things. She's like basically playing a game, if that makes any sense. Because obviously, and Dijon mentioned it, because he was like, don't you think Megan is acting different? Megan would have been the first person to jump to Meg's rescue. And that is so true. You know what? He's right, you know. Because that used to get on my nerves a lot with Megan. Because sometimes I was like, why is Megan getting into people's business that doesn't even concern her? Do you see what I'm saying? She would always jump into stuff. She'd be the loudest person, even for the littlest of things. So I understand what Dijon is saying. And it's so true. So Dijon is saying, it's weird for me because that's so not Megan. Do you know what I'm saying? And the fact that Megan didn't even tell them some of the stuff that was going on out there, do you know what I'm saying, that she'd watched. Now, Megan is saying that she didn't watch everything. She might have not watched everything. But I feel like, here's the thing. She might have not watched everything while she was in there, but I'm sure that she watched everything after. Because if she can come in and she can say that Helena and this, they were letting them off too easily, Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like she could have given them some information too. But actually, I was saying that I didn't see any difference in Megan's behavior. But now that he said it and he's broken it down so clearly, I get it. Because if you notice, Megan would have never said anything against Meg before. And remember when Toni extended the olive branch, right? And Meg was in the dressing room talking to what's her name, Angel, and she was like, at the end of the day, I wasn't gonna apologize because I didn't do anything wrong to anybody. Megan was just like, just stop it, or something like that, or stop it, or some kind of the sort. But not only that, Megan has also made some little digs towards Meg, and even that comment that she made and said that when they were talking about they didn't have like a girls trip, and she said, well, it's because Meg keeps getting upset, or Meg keep doing. I'm like, how much that situation annoys Meg and angers Meg, because when Shakira brought it up, she did not like it. This, so why would you say it? Do you see what I'm saying? So now when Dejan has pointed it out, I'm thinking to myself, actually, she's right. I can see it. It's true. She literally, I think she's playing it safe. I think Megan came out and decided, you know what? All the hate that she was getting because she was in people's business and she was doing this and she was doing that, I think she's trying to act like she's not taking any sides and she's trying to play neutral. I actually believe it. I'm not going to lie. I actually believe it. Do you know what I mean? So they told Connor, but Connor doesn't really care. He doesn't care for anything of that nature. He was just saying like he's going to speak to Megan about the whole Tommy situation. And Megan basically told Tommy that, yes, she flirted with Tommy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, okay, so she did flirt with him. Do you know what I'm saying? I think, do you know what? I don't know whether she flirted with him because she wanted Tommy. I don't even think it was that. I don't even know what it was. Because at the end of the day, weren't you not meant to be waiting for Connor? But then again, why would she wait for Connor? Because Connor was out here playing the streets. So, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? But the fact that she was flirting with Tommy, I don't know. Maybe it could be, maybe she was thinking there was something. I really don't know, to be honest. Or maybe she was just jealous seeing Lucy and Tommy together. You just never know. But I definitely think, because Connor told her to like be careful because he feels like, basically trying to say that he feels like the boys are playing a game, because why would you tell me now, try to cause a rift between me and Megan? You know what I'm saying? So he's telling her, listen, be careful how you respond to certain things. I think it's coming to crunch time and everybody now is thinking, is that person playing a game, or if that person playing a game? So I feel like now everybody's starting to get into like game position. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like that's what everyone's doing. But anyways, I do get what Dejan's saying, and it does make sense in my, do you know what I mean? It makes sense to me. But anyways, Meg pulled Harry and she said to him, like, I feel like he didn't have my back, when Shakira was saying all these nasty things about me. But you know what? I get it, because at the end of the day, I know she said that she had Harry's back. And do you know what? You want to listen carefully, because she said, I always have your back. And Harry said, yeah, I know. So therefore, I don't understand why Harry is second guessing Meg and Dejan when he knows that they've always had their backs. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just like, anyways, but let's not. That was yesterday's topic. But I'm going to, in Harry's defense, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but at the same time, let's be fair. He's coupled up with Shakira. Yes, Meg is his friend, but at the same time, he can't really get too, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you have to watch from the sidelines, because it's a very awkward situation to navigate, because that's one of my closest friends, but also that's my girl. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, you're forced to try, you're trying not to take sides, you're trying to stay neutral in a situation, but it's like, you don't know where to go. You don't want one person to say bad about the other person, but do you know what I'm saying? So I get what she's saying, because she felt she's always defended him. But at the same time, I understand that it would be very hard for Harry to navigate, especially with Harry being a people pleaser. And also the fact that I feel like Harry is, because Meg knocked the nail on the head. She could feel like he's gravitating to the other side. And I think she's right. He is gravitating to the other side. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, isn't it? I don't think their friendship, if they carry on, if he carry on dating Shakira, I feel like over time, their friendship will not exist anymore, because he will be forced to have to either choose Shakira or choose them. And I feel like more than likely he will probably choose Shakira, especially because already you can see where he's leaning more to the other side. But anyways, let's quickly talk about the challenge very, very quickly. And I will say they weren't bad. They weren't bad. So far, not so bad. I will say Ty has been one of the the best hype man because the way he was hyping up Angel and a little trick and stuff, and she did good. I mean, I still can't figure out how they do those things, but I know it's a trickery, right? But I think she did a good show. Also, I think that the hula hoop, Meg with the hula hoop, I can't hula hoop to save my life. I can't say anything and I can't spin nothing. I couldn't do no plate spinning or whatever spinning it is. So I'm not gonna knock it. It's a talent. She did it. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Right. I like Dijon's one because I feel like Dijon's one was fun. I felt like it got everybody involved and up and active. And I quite like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it made them laugh and kind of like take themselves away from all the pasa for even just for 5 minutes or a few minutes or whatever. And so I like Dijon's one. Blue one made me laugh because Blue was doing so good until he did that kick and fell on his ass. I was just like, Blue, that was bad timing. Nobody wants to see that coach down, Blue. Nobody wants to see that Mai Tai coach down, flat on the back. You know what I'm saying? But he did his thing. He tried and he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? Who's next? So Yasmin did her little posture lesson or whatever. And I'm going to say, Ty really kept it. He was straight. You could tell that he was focused. The concentration was up. You know what I'm saying? He was focused and he did a good job. Bless Toni. I mean, Toni does walk like this, kind of like me. I walk like that as well. But Toni could not even make it across with the book. I mean, I think I'll be okay with doing it because I've done it. I've walked around the house with books and stuff like that. But then I always used to carry stuff in my head on random. Anyways, don't ask me why. Do not ask me why. But I will say my favorite, before I say my favorite, Cash dance. Do you know what? I know Cash can dance. I know Cash can dance because I've been on Cash Instagram and I know Cash can dance. I wasn't blown away with the dance, but I feel like if you were there in the villa, you probably would have felt differently. But I wasn't blown away with the dance. I feel like it was all over the place for me, but it was still good. But I know he can do better because I've seen better. I feel like if I haven't been onto his Instagram and saw how good he is of a dancer, I probably would have just said, oh, that is good. But it was good. But at the same time, I felt like because I know he can do better, that's why I was thinking that. But Helena took it for me. Helena needs to win this. I'm not going to lie to you. Helena needs to win this because that cabin crew and roasting, it was top marks. Like, she got it down to a T, and it was the right amount of joke, the right amount of feistiness, the right amount of every little thing, and I loved it. I watched it twice actually because I started watching Love Island and then I stopped, so I went back to watching it, to catching it up. And I ended up watching it twice. So I really did like that. I felt like, you know what? She did a good job. She could probably go into stand-up comedy, you know? You never know. You just never know. But I did like her. I think hers was the best, hands down. It was perfectly executed. It was funny, you know what I'm saying? And it was so natural. I loved Helena'S one. I can't wait to see the rest. Harry, I see him in his little clown suit. And I'm telling you, he chose the right suit to be wearing because that man is a clown. A grown clown. So let's see what he does tomorrow. But anyways, guys, let's round this off. I think I've said all the stuff that I wanted to say. I think if I haven't, that means it's not important enough for me to say it. But thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't yet thumbs up the video, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in tomorrow's review. But for now, keep it sassy-licious. So guys, I was just editing the video, right? And I realized that I didn't actually comment on the whole Yasmin and Jamie thing, right? And I'm too lazy to get up to set up my tripod and stuff like that, right? So I thought I'd just stay in my bed. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm just gonna say what I need to say. So I don't know. Comment down below because I know we're in 2025 and women don't have to wait for men to do things. We can just go ahead and do things if we want to do things. But that could never be me. I'm sorry. I will not ask a guy to be exclusive. And I don't think a woman should ask a man to be her boyfriend or to ask a man to marry her or be exclusive. I just feel like at the end of the day, if a guy wants to be exclusive, he will ask you. I feel like if he wants to get married, he wants to marry you, he will ask you. I feel like if he wants you to be his girlfriend, he will ask you. Be patient. Let him ask you. Because at the end of the day, you know, sometimes, and I feel like a lot of times people find themselves in situations where, you know, they're not really happy in the end because you rush ahead of yourself and you can't wait. So you decide to take control of the situation, ask the person, you know, marry me. Do you know what I'm saying? And then later down the line, because he obviously didn't want to say no to you to hurt your feelings, he end up marrying you or end up being your boyfriend when he didn't really want to be your boyfriend, or he didn't want to be your husband. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's 2025, so at the end of the day, women we can do whatever we want to do. But it's just me. I just feel like, you know, let him make the effort. And don't get me wrong, I think her having the conversation with his, what's his name, Jamie, and telling Jamie exactly how she feels, I felt like she needed to do that because he needed that reassurance. When she was talking, I was just like, don't ask to be exclusive. Do not do it. Tell him how you feel, because he needs to know that you actually care about him as well. Do you know what I'm saying? He needs to know. Not my phone battery dying on me. But anyways, yeah, so tell him the truth. Let him know how you feel about him. Let him feel reassured that you actually like him as well, as much as he likes you. However, there's no rush. There's absolutely no rush. You don't have to ask him to be exclusive. Wait for him to ask. He said he was going to ask her. At the end of the day, she needed to wait, man. That's just my opinion, guys. Like, comment down below and tell me what you think. I mean, like I said, I know it's 2025 and people can do whatever they want to do. And do you know what? In one sense, you can argue and say, you know what? If you know what you want, go for it. Do you know what I'm saying? But I just feel like there's some things that you just have to let the men, you have to let the men do it. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to let the man do it, because at the end of the day, I don't know. But comment down below. Let me know what you think about it, guys. But anyways, I'm going to go to my bed now. Bye-bye.